Bible. So that's just by God's grace and the faith that I have in the work that Jesus did for me that I am saved. Do Muslims have the same assurance?
Of course, Allah says, are those who know and those who do not know equal? He didn't answer it, he left it rhetorical, of course. He says, only those with sound intellects truly remember. Now, to go back to blood sacrifice. Blood sacrifice is a Christian concept. It's not a Judeo concept. You're quoting the Torah, but the Jews don't believe that. So in the same book, which is the Torah, Christians have derived the concept of blood sacrifice. But the same book, Jews disprove blood sacrifice. You can look it up. You can YouTube. There's a lot of...
they only don't do blood sacrifice because they don't have a temple.
Right, but I'm saying that the concept of blood sacrifice for the sake of sin, you can research that as you like. Research that as you like. But in Islam, as we were getting to, both of us, there is no blood sacrifice. There's a sacrifice of many different colors. Sacrifice your time, sacrifice your wealth. Look at Hajj. I've been to Hajj, I went to 2007. These are deeds, but these are sacrifices. Because I have to spend my money, and I have to make Hajj. It's hot. And it is tiresome. Have you seen those people? That's a sacrifice. When I take 2.5 of my wealth, that's obligatory only if I have a certain amount. But I also have to sacrifice my wealth throughout the year. It's called sadaqah, charity. I have to go and I have to sit and I have to help my mother and reassure her that the guys outside don't want to do anything bad to her. I have to go and protect her. That is a sacrifice. I have to go and I have to meet my neighbor and cook something for them. I'm going to go buy the best chicken in the city, and I'm going to put the spices and I'm going to stuff it with some nice cilantro and bread and garlic, and I'm going to serve it nice and crispy and spicy. And if they don't answer the first time, I'm going to go back the next time and the next time. It's a sacrifice.
So what's the difference between you and me?
The difference is I only address God for deification and divinity. However, you dispense some of God's divinity to Jesus and the Holy Spirit. That's the difference.
So when you quoted the Quran, you were using the word we and us.
Yes. We don't speak American anymore, old English, like Shakespeare in English. We have that same concept in English. It's called the royal we. The king of England or queen of England always described herself as plural. We have decreed. And Arabs today, we use it all the time. Between us, we don't mean any superiority by it. It's just that we use it. Arabs today, we use in our conversations. This woman is from Yemen. I would live there. We use we. We want. And I'm talking about myself. It's common language. So it is not literal. And the Bible.
Real quick, I mean, you quoted the passage that salvation comes through faith in God and faith in Jesus Christ who he sent. So it's faith in both. So hold on. So why, if Jesus is not the Almighty God, part of this Trinity that we believe in, then why would the Almighty God tell me to have faith in a man? Why would the Almighty God tell me to have faith in a man that he created to have salvation? Why would he have both?
Exactly. That's a very beautiful question. When two things are mentioned in the same sentence, that means that both things are different. Both things are different. When God says, believe in God and Jesus, that means that they are two totally different entities. You must understand that. Faith, and that's in the Arabic. If you're a linguist, I wish I had some linguists here. If you're a linguist, you know that when you mention two things in the same sentence, you mean two different things. Otherwise, you would have mentioned both of them. You would have mentioned one and sufficed yourself to mention one of them. He mentioned both. Faith in. Now, faith in God is relative to God. And faith in Jesus is relative to Jesus, as they are two separate entities. Faith in God means to believe in him as the only divine being, the only deity that deserves worship, and faith in Jesus means to believe in him as sent by God, as messenger of God, as dictator of revelation, as explainer of the purpose of life, and guider to the hereafter. We must have faith in him as we have faith in Prophet Muhammad, but not as a deity or a sharer in divinity, simply as a messenger of God. So I agree with you in that. I'll let my friend answer.
Yeah, I just don't want this to turn into like a debate about the realities of Christianity versus Islam. We've taken a lot of time on this question, and I appreciate it, but I just want to make sure other people get an opportunity to speak. So if we could actually take some time to find out what the women have to ask. I'm not sure if we've passed up any questions, or if you feel comfortable speaking in public, but we want to make sure women have an opportunity to ask questions today. Men, we tend to take over conversations.
Does the Muslims have or know or have a definition for Messiah? Do you believe in Isaiah and his prediction of a Messiah? Do you believe in Daniel the prophet and his presentation and his prediction of a Messiah? And first of all, that's a yes and no question. And if you do, then what is the definition that the Muslims have of Messiah?
Okay. Now, wonderful. No, it's fine. It's a beautiful question. I did a lecture called Jesus and the Antichrist and the mystery and difference between deification and humanization. What does it mean to become or be a deity? What does it mean to become or be a human? I didn't record it, but this is from that. Messiah has 4 different meanings in the Arabic language. It's Masih. Does that sound like Messiah? Yes. Masih. Say it. Masih. The Hebrews will say Masih, which is ha. They do ha instead of ha. Mashiach, right? Good job. Mashiach, right? Now, my friend mentioned. Here, Messiah means white or whiter, anointed or anointer. It has a double meaning. I broke one word into 2 different meanings. Each of the 2 meanings have 2 different meanings. Understand this? I love language, so of course not. Now, Messiah means anointed or anointer. As for anointed, it means one who, anointed means one who is blessed. Anointed also means that one whose his feet were leveled. And he used to travel upon the earth with level feet. He didn't have a curvature in his foot. As for anointer, because he used to wipe the person and cure them of sicknesses, the blind, the leper, the anoints, as well as wiping the world with justice, traveling around the world, so wiping it with justice, and equity and worship of God. The Jewish concept of Messiah is a king that will deliver the Jews from their predicament, a leader. Because he is anointed on becoming a leader by the priest. He's anointed, he's a Messiah. Okay. Jesus Christ is the Savior in the sense that he will save mankind from the greatest trial and tribulation that they will ever see, and that is the Antichrist. The Antichrist is called Messiah also because he is white, his eye is white, he cannot see out of both. He can see out of one, and one is deformed that he can see out of. He's white. And also because he anoints the world with corruption that the world never knew before. This is the only person that will come to the world and say that I am your Lord, and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people will follow him as God, the Antichrist. This is where Jesus descends from the heavens. That's why he was taken up in the first place. understand the Jewish concept of Messiah, and it's explained by the Islamic concept of Messiah. That he will save the world from the greatest trial. As we mentioned, he will destroy the Antichrist. And the Jews knew that the Messiah cannot come under the curse of the law. The curse of the law was crucifixion. So if we succeed in crucifying him, then he's not the Messiah. That is a concept of the Jew at that time, and those who are learning. If we crucify him, he's not the Messiah, he's an impostor. And they believe that today. Lots of them, the Jew believes, the original Jew, believed that Jesus was an impostor. That's why they succeeded in crucifying him. They didn't succeed in crucifying him because he's the Messiah. That's, you see what I'm saying? Because he's the Messiah, they didn't succeed in crucifying him. Someone was crucified that day, but it was not Jesus. He was raised to the heavens, and he will return to save humanity from the Antichrist and wrap up that whole misconception of God coming and you worshiping him. That's the big mystery. Yes.
So then, if he was, okay, so you do have a definition of the Messiah.
Yes.
But do the Muslims have a Messiah?
Our Messiah is Jesus.
Is Jesus. Okay.
Yes.
But what? Let me get it right.
Okay.
Do you believe that there was another human that was crucified that day?
Yes, definitely.
In lieu of Jesus Christ?
Yes, definitely. He resembled Jesus, yes.
So the human man that was crucified,
Yes.
even though he was put in the tomb, how did he, okay, you believe he raised, but it wasn't.
Yes.
It was before the cross.
Yes,
not
if any
after.
of this is correct. So the story of the rising in the Bible would take scrutiny for any Christian who is true to scrutinize the story. And when you scrutinize the story, you will come up with you will find some discoveries in the story in the Bible. I'm going to leave that up to you. But Islam doesn't speak about him, and probably didn't speak about raising from the dead. All of that was not mentioned. It was just simply mentioned that he was lifted to the heavens, and he's awaiting for his time to come back. That's
So
his
do
being.
we have in the Quran a revelation type book or section?
You mean Revelation like the end of
time.
Yes. All of that, the whole book is nothing but that. The whole book talks about the day of judgment, what's going to happen, and so on and so forth. You should read it. It's very beautiful. And Prophet Muhammad also told us the signs of the hour. The sign, what will happen? From that is the Antichrist, the descendants of Jesus. The sun rising from the opposite way, which is the west. The sun will come from the other way. Many different things that he told us will happen before the day of judgment.
Any other questions from the sisters here? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm kind of going to get to the point here. I want to understand why the people, the Muslim community in the United States has not been more vocal against what's going on in these other countries like Syria and Iraq and everything, and how you feel about saying we are not that kind of people, that we cut your head off or we, burn you alive if you don't believe in Islam. That's a big thing for them. And because, I think that's one of the biggest problems Islam has with people like us, because we don't understand how you would go out and kill somebody because they don't believe in what you believe or in that sense. And so if somebody wanted to burn the Bible, we'd be offended, but we wouldn't go out and say, well, you just did this, we're going to chop your head off. And that's the problem that Americans have, is that we don't feel you are coming forward and say we condemn this kind of behavior. And I think I speak for a lot of Americans on that there's too much, you hear all this, but then you don't try to explain it away or try to say we don't believe in this. We feel like we should live it. We should not feel like if we do something that hurts your religion, that we have to worry about our lives being taken because of that.
Thank you very much for the question. There's actually a lot of different things to unpack here.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'll just say, as a fellow white American born and raised in this land, ancestors here, I have the very same concerns. In fact, my family members would as well. And there's no way on earth that I would follow a religion that taught that kind of stuff. But that's the good news. We don't. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of the Lord's Resistance Army in Central Africa that's hacking up Muslims, burning them alive, and burning their mosques down right now, or the history of Christianity, torturing and burning and killing non-believers all throughout history, or currently the policies of the American government with drones, basically blowing people, innocent people up all over the planet in their own sovereign lands.
Thank you.
But we would have the same question for any American person about those things. Why aren't you standing up and saying something about it? But that's also the good news. You are. Because Muslims and Americans are both speaking out about these injustices. Because they're not part of our religion, and they're not part of the way of life in America. My question to you, man, would be why you don't know about these things. Do you not know about the giant letter that Muslim scholars throughout the world wrote to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the so-called leader of ISIS, refuting all of his points as to why they're able to do the things they're doing? Why you don't know about you didn't know about it, and I want you to go home today and answer that question. Why don't you know about it? Because that's an important question Americans need to ask. Why don't you know about the fact that I and Imam Qadr Abdullah went into an Episcopal church in Wilmington to openly condemn any act of terrorism committed by a Muslim or Christian or Jew or atheist? Why didn't you hear about that? Why didn't you hear about all the Muslim communities who go all over the country speaking about these terrible things?
But that is your question too.
That is your question too.
Yeah.
Brother, right? That's your question too. Why are we not hearing that?
Right.
Why are we not hearing that? Because we're not listening and looking for it, and it's not coming also from here. Both sides have to do a better job communicating your love, and we have to have the love of hearing.
Because we are free people, and we think whatever you want to do within the law, you should be allowed to do, and not feel like you're going to be murdered for it. And I actually feel that I think one of the problems I think that you do not speak about it is the fact that you yourself are afraid that if you speak against your own religion, you will be harmed or be taken away. I mean, seriously, that's the reality of it.
Well, the reality is, man, any of the powers that be or have been, if you step up against them, they will eliminate you. That is the concept. If you get on America's nerves enough, you will disappear. That's just the bottom line. So,
let me ask you.
But wait,
no, I want an answer to this.
Right.
Okay? If I told you I would like to put an American flag hanging from your mosque,
It's
what
out
would
there.
you say?
Outside.
You got one out there?
There's a big American flag out there right now.
Yeah, well, I didn't
But the point is nationalism and so on and so forth. These are not the ways of the prophet. These are modern things. Nationalism and a flag and borders, none of these existed. So we became divisive nations of people and putting classes that never existed in the times of the prophets. So even in that, if you actually scrutinize a lot of the things that we consider norms, they didn't exist. Jesus would not accept it. Period.
But why do they occur in other countries? Muslim countries.
They occur.
Where, Sharia law is, if you don't cover yourself completely, you're going to get lashes because you did that. You're not able to give education. People are not able to give an education. Women are not allowed to drive in these countries.
I came from Yemen 2 years ago. Graduated from English literature back home. I work in airline, National Airways, Yemen, called Yemeni. My father is a doctor, my mom is a teacher, my sister is a teacher. I mean, it's not
So
all.
everything we hear about going on
See, the thing is, I'm an idiot.
Honest with you, not all families. Some families closed-minded,
But it's
not
not.
educated.
It's not.
It's not.
It's a country.
Some people, open-minded. So I have to be tell the truth. Not all
I say let's
people
pray.
is like
Yes.
mine. family. So
Perfect.
it's just,
The best thing to know as this is when you come in here, because all of the ideas that you have is what the news media has told you. And you believed it because they said it. You didn't, nobody, not you necessarily, but the American people have not scrutinized and held to account the media. Where's your evidence? Where's your proof?
Okay, I'll give you some evidence here.
What
about the lady in the United States who wanted to get a divorce from her husband, but he wouldn't give her a divorce? He beheaded her, okay, for an honor killing. What about the two girls that got run over by their father because she thought they were becoming too westernized?
You're just drilling off.
Don't worry. I mean, you have to. I understand your.
No, you don't understand.
Can I talk?
Just out of respect.
I respect you. I'm not arguing with you. I apologize if it seems as if I'm arguing with you. I apologize if it seems I'm challenging you. I apologize. But what I'm saying to you, man, and all of you who are here, is that what you see Muslims do, honor killings does not exist in Islam. Look through the books of legislation, it does not exist.
there is Christians in Egypt. When a Christian girl kept returned to Islam, they treated her to kill her head. So it's not.
Oh, I know there's Muslims too. I know there's
No, they are Christians. When she wanted to be a Muslim, they said they will curve her and cut her pieces. But they are Christians, so it's not about the religion.
The point is nothing about the religion and the concept of honor killings. I want you guys to read this. Go to openletter.al-Baghdadi.com. Open letter to al-Baghdadi. There's open letter.
We'll write it for you.
OPENLETTER to al-Baghdadi.
We'll write it for you.
Yeah, we'll give it to you, Jacob. Open letter to al-Baghdadi is a letter open to him. And it has, when I checked it, it has 120 representatives, imams from all over the world that signatories. Read it. Because don't forget, these people, ISIS and their affiliates, the people with their same mentality killed the third and fourth caliph. The third and fourth leader after Prophet Muhammad were killed by people with the mentality and ideology of ISIS. We have been having problems with these people and their misinterpretation of the Quran since then. Prophet Muhammad, in fact, he told us. One time, I'll give you a story, very quick. A man came to him. Muhammad was dispensing some wealth to the followers and so on. So one man came to him and said, Muhammad, be just in your giving. Because I see that you don't want Allah, you don't seek Allah's face with this giving. Prophet Muhammad got very red in the face. And this man got up and walked away. He said, who is going to be just if I'm not just? Who else is left to be just if I, the Prophet of God, am not just? He said, from this man, listen to me very closely. He said, from this man will come a group of people who will pray better than you pray. You Muslims, they will pray better than you. They will read the Quran better than you do. And it will not pass their collarbones. Meaning it won't go into their hearts. He said that these group of people will kill a Muslim first and leave the non-Muslims alone. These group of people, you've seen them continuing to kill and so on. He said they are joining their races together. He said that they are the dogs of the fire. He said they will claim to be from the Muslim nation and they will claim to know the Quran, but they are in totality away from the Quran. And he also said, if I were to meet them, I would fight them and I would take them out in one shot. He himself, Prophet Muhammad said he would fight ISIS. Prophet Muhammad said he would fight these people who misinterpret the Quran and use it to kill and make vengeance with something that is far from vengeance. So let's
it's equal ISIS. It's
right. So that's the point. I'm not talking about necessarily KKK. Yes, you're right. That's my point is that ISIS and its affiliates are a problem in Islam. From Prophet Muhammad, we heard this. So
why aren't you guys doing anything about it?
We are. What can we do, man?
What are you doing about it? You're not speaking out.
So right now, Muslims collectively in this room, let's stand up. We have something to do for this one.
Yes.
We today in a mosque here in the beautiful land of America, we condemn all acts of terrorism. We condemn all acts of injustice committed on this planet today, whether they're by Muslims who've either fallen off the path or adhere to the Quran perfectly, and non-Muslims. Whether you're a Christian or you're a Jew or you don't have any faith at all, we don't care. Terrorism and injustice have no place in America. Terrorism and injustice have no place in Islam. And we today, and you take the message for us, man, because we're going to do it, and we're going to continue to do it like we've been doing it.
Well, thank
You tell people.
Thank you.
Brother Isa, Brother Ayub, the Islamic Center, Hamzah, we condemn all acts of injustice and terrorism done by anyone and everyone today in this room.
Well, thank you so much for saying that.
No problem. We're not the first.
Thank you for saying that, because a lot of people feel the way I do. Okay, we love this country. We've lived in this country. We didn't have to worry about having our heads cut off or be, bombed, or anything, because we didn't believe your religion. And I respect you for your religion, but I also respect my religion. And I would be upset if somebody wouldn't, tore up a Bible. But if I tore up a Quran and think that I have to worry about somebody coming blowing up my house or cutting my head off because I insulted their religion, we don't believe that here in the United States. This is the only country in the world that gives human rights, every individual rights. And that's the way it should be, and we do not tolerate anybody else. And I'm glad Pam Gallery stood up and did what she did when it had to do with that, making that caricature of Muhammad, because she knew she had the right to do that, and that she had the right without having to worry about her own life being taken. And that's a fact. And that's what you guys need to understand. And you need to get out there. And I'm glad I'm glad I came here with that.
Thank you.
Because I feel better having seen more of what this. But we need to see you people out there, for more of Americans to feel the way I do. That we think you're sympathized towards that, type of lifestyle. Well, you didn't believe in, Allah, or you didn't believe in Muhammad. And it's good to hear you saying what you're saying.
Can I say something? I think the one thing that you missed, and what Isa has mentioned, is that message has been out there. The message has been out there many times by many of our organizations, Islamic organizations. The problem is that the media has not been putting that message out there. Just like you said, there have been hundreds of imams and Islamic institutions that have come out and said we are against this. The problem is that the media is not putting that out there. That's why you don't hear it. That's why you're not getting the message. We're all 51 Americans. I'm a military veteran, United States Air Force.
Thank you for your service.
Okay? I was born and raised here. This is my country. I can't go anywhere else. So our job, and everybody that's here, every single one of these Muslims, they made their conscious decision to come here to the United States of America. Because what? Because of those freedoms that we're talking about. Unfortunately, in many Muslim countries, they don't have that freedom to practice the religion like we do right here. So I'm glad that you came. I'm glad that now you can go back and take that message that this is what Muslims really believe. Like Ayub told you. ISIS does not represent us. ISIS represents the complete opposites of what we believe. Okay, so we're going to have this same type of meeting again.
I think it's great.
And we want you to come back. But we also want you to go, listen, we want you to also go back, because the media's not doing it. We want you to go back and give that message and say, okay, I met Muslims. I met Muslims, and this is what Muslims really believe. Not what you're hearing on Fox News. Not what you're hearing on CNN. Okay? Because the problem with the news media, whenever they do put a Muslim on there, they put the Muslim on who's the most radical person that you can find. The complete opposite of what a Muslim says. But they're not coming to the neighborhoods and talking to us. They're not talking to the Muslims who are born and raised. That's what we need to do. So you need to go back and you need to give a message to your friends and family that this is what Muslims really believe. Because this is the truest.
Bring them as well.
And I would just like to point out to you today that, like the brother clearly said today, guys, we are Americans.
We're American.
We're Americans. We're American citizens.
You from North Carolina too?
Yeah. And again, and I say this, you know, as someone, most of my family members are not Muslim.
Right, mine not.
Yeah.
Mine aren't either.
If I really thought Islam taught to behead people and punish women for not dressing properly or any other things, guys, I would really have a hard time being a Muslim. You know, I mean, I just would not be able to do it. And I think that Dr. Ali and Imam Ayyub would have the same problems. If we really thought that our religion taught that, we would not follow it, because I don't have to. I live in America, I can do whatever religion I want. I can just go back to being a Christian, and then everything would be fine. But that's not what it teaches. And I clearly explained to everyone that the Quran says, La ikraha fid-din. In Arabic means you cannot compel people into actions. Okay? So I don't think, man, that you or anyone else actually believes that Islam teaches those things, or you wouldn't have sat in this door today without a headscarf on or even come. I think that you know that there's almost 2 billion Muslims in this world, and that if we really believed those things, we would have already burned this earth up. But we don't. Any of the extremists out there represent a small fraction of, I think someone did the figures out of all the Muslims. If you count all the members of ISIS today, it's less than 1/100% of all of us. We don't agree with those things. We don't support them. We don't teach them. The Quran doesn't support them. But Muslims, like any other human beings, are human beings, and we can choose to do wrong. That's the one important factor that you need to understand, is that we believe in free choice. That God gave human beings the ability to obey and disobey Him, and they'll be held accountable on the day of judgment for that obedience and disobedience. So please, we wouldn't do it to you as a Christian. Don't do it to us as a Muslim. All world religions have histories, and they have instances where people have deviated from the teachings. The Prophet Muhammad is sent as a mercy to all of mankind. He was not sent as a dictator. It says that period, point blank in the Quran. You are not sent as a dictator. So, if you're going to judge our religion and what we believe and what we do, judge it on the sources of it. Because Muslims are always going to fall short in adhering to everything properly, even some of us to extreme. And so do Christians, so do Jews, so do everyone. So thank you all very much for coming here today. At this point, you are... At this point, we are going to enjoy our second prayer of the day. This is an opportunity for you guys to stick around and observe what it looks like to see Muslims pray. The good news is there's no 32-hour-and-a-half sermon that you have to listen to. That's all been taken care of. Now all we do is prostrate and bow to the Creator of the universe. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how the imam feels today. So once again, guys, thank you so much for coming